I'll just introduce myself. My name is Chris Rush. I work with offtoclass.com, and we're a website that helps teachers save time and focus on their students. I myself have been an online ESL teacher since 2013. So I did that full time for a long time. And then in about 2017, I kind of changed what I was doing to sort of focus on helping teachers reach more students with online teaching.
That's great. Yeah, so my name is James Liu. For those who don't know me well, I'm an ESL student. So I came to the States after college about 15 years ago, originally from China, and then spent 10 years in academia, did my MBA, my PhD, had my postdoc. And then about a couple of years ago, I transitioned from academic research to consulting, management consulting, working with global companies with their marketing, sales, pricing strategies. Did that for 2 years. Towards the end of 2018, I was having some conversations with my own ESL teachers, and they were talking about this industry, how these companies came in, like how the price has been dropping. And then I was like, hey, you can try this. Why don't you try this? Because I was in the marketing and pricing, like sales field.
Mm-hmm.
And then my teachers tried it. I was, oh, this is great. I never thought about this. And we talk about like a positioning or specify yourself. I didn't come up with a niche teaching concept at the moment, but it was like, hey, you need to position yourself. How can you compete with others if you're just the same, right? And if they draw down the price, because it's a commodity market to me, when everybody sells the same thing, and
Right.
then the solution is to differentiate yourself, right? And we were thinking about, hey, how can you differentiate yourself? And one of my teachers was like, I like to teach accent. Sure, just be an accent coach, right? Just do accent only, and then people are gonna see you. And then they were like, oh, if I just do this thing only, what about students who want something else? I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, but then you become a general teacher again, right? You want to
Yeah.
specify yourself. Think about the neurosurgeons, right? They only do one thing, tiny thing, and people pay them much more than paying general practitioners. It's just the concept, right? It's straightforward, but it's kind of challenging for teachers to think about that. And that was the end of 2018, and I helped some of my teachers, and they were like, "Hey, James, there's so many teachers suffering. Why do you just help them, right?" So then that was 2 years into the consulting. I was thinking about doing something different. So I always wanted to have my business. Always wanted to have my own business, be an entrepreneur. I was like, yeah, this can be the opportunity. I can just let it go, then think about something else. But why just take it and try it, right? And that's entrepreneur. So I just left my job and started a business in January 2019.
Okay.
No clue what's gonna be. And start looking for clients on different platforms, and then end up with LinkedIn. Had some one-on-one clients in 2019, and then towards the end of 2019, I was kind of too busy with one-on-one coaching. I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna just move on to group sessions, having group training, right? So we launched 21-day challenge, 21-day teach entrepreneur challenge in January 2020. That was the first round. So we got 45 teachers in the group, and it was successful. People loved it. The teachers was like, oh my God, that's what I was looking for. It's really helpful. And they would just keep having this 21-day challenge. And it's been a year and a half now. We've graduated, I think, over 1,700 teachers from the challenge. And a lot of teachers learn and go independent. And I think that was great. Just thinking back, right, it's been 2.5 years that the entrepreneurial journey I just had. Yeah, it's just like, you find something, do it and try it, right? If you fail, just do something else. Yeah, this is me. I think some of you already know me. Some of probably is the first time listening to me. I hope that it can be inspiring a little bit. Just be your own boss, right? Having your own business.
Yeah. Okay. So this is super interesting because I think what we do, you and I, is we advocate for the same types of things, and maybe our approaches are a little bit different. So I have a certain way that I talk about it. and you have a certain way that you talk about it. So this is kind of what I want to ask you about. So let's start kind of at the beginning. A lot of teachers, whether they are wishing to be independent or whether they're like on a marketplace, like an italki or a Verbling or something like that, a lot of teachers, okay, they when they want to start talking to students, they have a feeling like, I need to be able to teach everything to everyone so that everyone will want to take lessons with me. So a teacher will say, I do young learners and I do business English and I do IELTS and TOEFL, and I'll help you with your meetings. And
Yeah.
and because
Yeah.
the thought
Yeah.
process makes sense, right? Like
Yeah.
that way, if someone's looking for any of those things, they might want to pick me as the teacher. So what is the big problem with that? Like why does that not work to be an effective
Yeah.
in your messaging?
Yeah. So when you are the only seller in town, you sell everything. That's right. That works. But when there somebody else next door do the same thing, and somebody else next door do the same thing, and then the whole street does the same thing, selling everything, right? And then that's not your market, right? It's seller's market, buyer's market, and just competition comes in, right? Even if you sell the best ones, right? People compare all these services, products by looking at the price. Then you get into the price war, right? You go down, right? Just like that. It's really about like positioning how people perceive. So one thing I learned when I was a consultant is how much people want to pay you. The willingness to pay is decided by the perception, how they perceive your service. It's not actually the quality your service. It's how the people perceive your service. So it's a very interesting psychological thing. So you have a great product, nobody knows, nobody appreciates, then you sell for nothing. If you have a concept,
Right.
you don't even have a product, have a concept, people appreciate it, right? People
Right.
give you money for it. How people perceive it, and that is about differentiation. So I think that relates to niche teaching. Finding a niche, a particular group of people that have similar problems you can solve, and then it can help you position better because these group people see you differently from other teachers, right? So I think we always talk about three things when it comes to a successful business: three pillars: marketing, sales, and teaching. I can very quickly walk you through the how niche teaching benefits every single pillar, right? So we've been talking about marketing as about positioning the messages. So how niche teaching benefits marketing, right? A lot of if you want to go independent, if you want to have your own student, you have to market your business, and how niche teaching helps with that. So first, positioning, we have talked about that. So niche teaching, think about this. I'm an ESL teacher. I teach young learners. I teach business English. I teach accent. I teach resume. That's one way to position yourself. Or hey, I'm a communication coach. I'm an English communication coach for IT professionals only. So just take one second, think about these two positioning, right? If you look at two people, like two teachers, I'm an IT professional. I'm looking at teachers. One teaches everything, young learners. How that has anything to do with me? Excellent. I don't need that. But one, communication, how you do meetings, how you do one-on-one, how do you do small talk? That's all I need, all I want. Now, which one do you want to pick? And this one charges $20. This one charges $100. I go with $100. So another thing about the psychological thing, like a pricing, people go with the higher price service when they appreciate the service.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So think about this, right? So if I go, I just got a newborn, my daughter. I was like on Amazon, I'm looking for stuff.
Wow.
I don't know what's the difference, but I picked the more expensive one because I feel like there's some reason why it's expensive, right? So I go to grocery store, all these eggs, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. I picked the more expensive one because there must be a reason that's expensive. So that's really a much better way to make a business work, right? Position yourself different, you charge higher, people appreciate it. So marketing And not only how you position yourself, also the messages. When you do marketing, you need to talk, you need to advertise yourself, right? So think about general teachers, how they advertise themselves. Hey
Okay,
guys,
wait.
yeah,
You're going into so many things, and I think
too
this is
fast.
great. Yeah, yeah. And so I wanna. So first of
Great.
all, congratulations! I did not know that you had a baby. Like that's
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you.
And I do want to talk about the pricing because
Sure.
a lot of these things you're saying, I'm like, wait, I want to talk about this more
Yeah, go
because
ahead, please.
these things are so important. So the one thing you talked about that I thought was super interesting was like when you sell all these things that like if someone wants to offer all these things, it's not for me, right? If the IT professional has a choice between a communication coach for IT professionals or the person who says, I do children and IELTS and
Yeah, yeah,
accent and
yeah,
all these things that they don't need. One of the ways that I kind of like to think about this is when you focus on one specific audience, you are able to really focus on the specific problems that they have.
yeah, yeah,
And of course, one of the most important ways that you can communicate with someone is by understanding what their problems are.
yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
if you try to do IELTS and children and all those things, it's really hard for you to know actually what they're struggling with. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you
yeah,
focus on
yeah,
one audience, and so like this is important when you talk about like using the specific language that they use.
yes,
An analogy that I've used before, and this is what I try to tell teachers is put yourself in the position of like a shopper,
yeah,
like I'm a
yeah,
shopper
yeah,
and I think about what you like. So I like guitars, right? Guitars are a thing that like I'm interested in. So if I have two stores to go into, right, and I can't see what's inside the store, this is what you're talking about. Like this is the perception. It's not even the product. If I have two guitar stores and I can't go inside, all I can do is talk to the salesman outside. And one salesman says, I have big guitars. I have small guitars. I
yeah,
have really nice guitars, every guitar you want. And then the other person says, yeah, I have acoustic, I have electric. What kind of pickups are you looking for? And they start using like this terminology, that only I would know because I'm interested in guitars. That means like this person really understands. So I know when a lot of teachers talk about this, I do business English, I do IELTS, I do TOEFL, and they say these things, what they imagine that they're appealing to everyone. But if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not able to
yeah.
speak to the specific problems that those people have, it's gonna. And I see you
Yeah,
laughing,
yeah,
right? Because I think
yeah,
this is something you've seen too.
yeah, yeah. So actually, that I was going to talk about it in the sales part. So that exactly what you're trying to, I mean, what you explained is absolutely true. But we can talk about sales. So how
Okay.
niche speaking affects sales? Exactly what you mentioned. Just kind of add a little bit. So think about this. Because in my approach, I encourage teachers to talk to students. That's a sales session, a strategy
Mhm.
session. That's the approach we take. So you need to talk to them to figure out if they are from a niche, if they need your help, and then give you the opportunity to help them increase the perception of the value you're offering your program so you can charge a higher rate, right? So that's
Yeah.
a meeting you're gonna have with your students, and you go in the meeting as a general teacher. Oh, I teach business English. You just talk about everything about English. It's great. You're a great English teacher. But think about this. You come in, you're a niche teacher. You've been helping ITs, right? IT professionals. And then you start, hey, I know you're working at Facebook. That's great. How's everything there? They're like, oh, we are very, really busy. Oh, you know what? I have a client just, had a problem. They work on Facebook, and I know about this new thing they just launched. How that has been affecting you. So you start talking about like things that are related to them. Like
Yeah.
did something just happened yesterday at Facebook, or something happened just for in the IT industry, you are aware of it because you're a niche teacher. Everybody like you are working with, they're talking to every day is from IT. The
Right.
knowledge you built, the experience you built, right? So some of my clients, they are 6 7 months a year into their niche teaching, like a niche, right? In the strategy session, when they have conversations with the prospects, the people from the niche, they're educating them.
Absolutely.
Oh, you don't know that? Actually, there's a great resource you can go to that can help you. Oh,
Yeah.
that is super important. I can tell you, so many of my clients have done that. It works. So they're educating them. They were like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is not just an English teacher.
Right.
So
Right.
how much trust you can build when you
Yeah.
have your niche specific knowledge, experience, right? And people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, people are looking for English teachers, but they also want to look for people who know them.
Right.
And I like using analogies like doctors, right? You go to a doctor, you have some type of things like symptom, and you go to a doctor that have been treating people just like you.
Right.
How do you feel? How secure you feel? Or you go to a doctor, no, never treat people like you. Like no, just like oh, you're the first person I've ever seen, right? So how do you feel about that? It's really different. So that's a niche teaching. Niche teaching takes time. It's like, oh, I have been teaching English for 30 years. I have no niche. It takes time to develop the niche specific experience, but you need to do that, right? It doesn't take that long.
Right.
The 30 days, 6 months, because that's the only thing you do. It's like me when I first started my business. I know nothing about ESL teachers. I just work with some ESL teachers.
Right.
But after a few months talking to, I remember I had 250 strategy sessions in total in 2019. I talked to 250 teachers.
Yeah. You learned a
And
lot about the
when they were
problems teachers have.
yeah, when they were talking about italki, like no VIBK, all these companies, I was like, oh, I know about that. I know about that. No, it's like you know so much about the industry right away. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the doctor analogy. Because one of the things that I think about and really related to what you were saying is how we can demonstrate expertise. So if you go to a doctor, and like you said, who has never treated anyone like you, who never had, doesn't know the problem you're having, that doctor might not ask the best questions. But when you go to a doctor who's a specialist, they know exactly what questions to ask. And those questions that they ask will show you, boy, this doctor really knows. So if you go into a doctor and the doctor says, okay, can you stand up for me, please? And you stand up, and the doctor can look at your body when you're standing, and the doctor could say something like, how long has your left hip been hurting you? And you go, oh my goodness, how did you know, doctor? Right? Because of the way you're standing, told, and that's something that can only happen when you have deep expertise. And when an English teacher, when you can do that with a student, that is when, like in a strategy session, if you can ask a question about a problem that you think the student might have that the student hasn't told you about yet, they feel like you're reading their mind, right? And they're like, oh, and it's so powerful because it's more than just, it's not a trick, right? It's you are showing them, listen, I'm not here to be everything to everybody. I understand your problems in a very deep way, and I can help you solve them.
Yeah. Because you have helped so many people just like this person and this person from your niche. So I hope teachers appreciate that, Daniel, how much the niche teaching can help with your sales and the marketing. And there's just one little piece we didn't mention about marketing is the messages. So think about when you advertise your business online, when you want people to know about your business, right? You need to use the messages to resonate with them. And nowadays, if you are on Facebook, you're scrolling right on your phone, in your feed, and some people, I teach English. You were like, okay, just another English teacher. It's just like that, right? And if somebody in the ads, right, mentioning your pain points, did you feel not very comfortable yesterday at a meeting when you talked to your boss just because you don't know how to start a small talk? I was like, okay, interesting. You stopped. Right? Well, that is how resonating your message can be when you really know about your niche. And the online marketing right now, all these platforms, all these systems, right, can help you deliver very specific messages to very specific audience, very personalized ads, right?
Yeah.
Which cannot be done maybe 10 years ago. But now you can direct messages specifically to people. I've heard this so many times. There are James, I was thought about this. I thought about this. I was thinking about this yesterday, and today I saw your ads. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking yesterday. How did you know? So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it can be creepy, but it resonates. It resonates with the audience. That's important. Otherwise, you're wasting your money doing ads. You're wasting money. You're doing marketing. So niche teaching helps marketing, and we also talk about sales. So one more, unless you have questions about sales, marketing, or something you want to talk about
Okay,
before we move on to
the
teaching.
only thing I was going to ask you about, and you can tell me if this can wait a little while.
Yeah, yeah,
But you had mentioned about pricing and
yeah.
about the Amazon example. Do you want to talk about that now, or because I was going to talk about
Okay.
that? Or, okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
so it's this idea of you get what you pay for, right?
yeah,
You applied it to buying something for your baby, right?
yeah,
Like you're buying something for your baby. Now, there when a lot of times when we want to buy something, we can approach things in two ways. We can look for the cheapest thing there is,
yeah, yeah,
or we're looking for quality, right? We're looking for
yeah,
the best
yeah,
thing there is.
yeah, yeah,
And if you're shopping for your baby,
yeah,
generally speaking, gosh, that's really important to you. You can get
yeah,
the best thing that you can get because there's this
yeah,
idea that,
yeah,
well, I know it's generally true you get what you pay for. Is it always true? No. Are there exceptions? Sure. Are
yeah,
there good deals to be had? Sure.
yeah,
But I have to think, if is this inexpensive for a reason? Is there
yeah,
something
yeah,
that's going to
yeah,
be less good about
yeah,
it? So what I've noticed with teachers and pricing is that when teachers start to have this fear that
mhm,
says, oh no, everyone's charging low, and the only way I'm going to get students is if I charge lower than them. And
mhm,
then what happens is, in addition to being paid very little, you are encountering students who are not looking for the best, they're looking for the cheapest.
yeah,
And because that's the world you get in, you imagine all students must be this way,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it must be impossible to charge
yeah,
20,
yeah,
30,
yeah,
40,
yeah,
$50 an hour.
yeah,
And what I tell teachers is, listen, you could change nothing about your
yeah,
messaging, about your
yeah,
offer. You could change nothing. But if you just charge yourself higher than this race to the bottom,
yes, yes,
it's going to be a very different set of
yeah,
students that are
yeah,
looking for you.
yeah,
The set of
yeah,
students looking for you
yeah,
are not going to be the
yeah,
ones who are saying,
yeah,
okay, well,
yeah,
if you're teaching me for 5, will you teach me for 4?
yeah,
Will you also give me written
yeah,
feedback?
yeah,
You're going to be finding the students who, like you,
yeah,
looking for something for your baby, say
yeah,
this English is so important to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
This is going to lead me to something that's higher in my life,
yeah, yeah,
and I am
yeah,
looking for something that is
yeah.
going to be better.
That's a great point, Chris. So one of the articles I published a long time ago talking about the market, advanced learner market, right? So that's exactly the group you're talking about who are looking for high quality service because think about why they are advanced learners,
Right.
why they are already advanced because they're committed. They know how
Yeah.
important English like language to them, and they want more, and they appreciate it. And oftentimes when you teach beginners, people have been learning English for 20 years and haven't got anywhere. They are not going to pay you more than $20. They don't
Right,
appreciate
right.
it. They don't appreciate it. So advanced learner just one population of the people that you talk about who are looking for high quality. And I agree with you. Even teachers right now, a lot of teachers getting $20, $15, $10 an hour, even without changing anything. If they target different group, that people who appreciate, who are pursuing like quality,
Yeah.
who appreciate value the service,
Yeah.
they will like give you more. And I can't tell you how many times teachers were like, oh my god, they just pay me. So they were
Yeah,
charging like
right.
$500, $300 for their program. They were like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they just paid. So they just feel like they never believed
Yeah.
these students actually exist.
Right.
The people who want to pay more than $100, $150, $200 exist, and I told them they exist. They
Mhm.
exist. We're seeing them every day. Teachers in our inner circle group charging $150 an hour, 200, $300 an hour, and they exist
Yeah.
because they have a good positioning, they have a great program, they have found the niche that they are good at helping and also appreciate them, and they do that. And all the teachers graduate from the Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge. I set the bar. Hey, don't charge lower than $50
Right.
because just by offering what you have been offering and now change to niche teaching already justify $50 an hour, and then you increase right as you go. Just because I think you made a very good point, and you get to the trap when you teach these people who want to negotiate with you, right?
Yeah.
Even like at $20 an hour, it was like, hey, can we do 10? Can we do
Yeah.
5? If you are, I mean, all the teachers, if you're dealing with students like that, you are in a trap. You need to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
There are so many students out there gonna appreciate what you do, even without changing anything. Just like what Chris said. That's great. That's a great point. Yeah.
So I want to ask a practical question.
Yeah.
How should a teacher choose a niche, right? I mean, there's so many different things. Like, what? How do you know what you should
Yeah,
pick
yeah,
if it's a teacher who
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
know?
That's a very, very great question, a popular question. No, in the Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge, I only give them 1 day to decide their niche because
Good.
I mean I can tell you this. Many teachers come to you, hey James, I've been spending like 6 months trying to find a niche. I haven't got anywhere.
Yeah.
So why? Because just like you said, especially for teachers who have done everything. So like
Right.
you can do everything, just like the one you made, right? Made example of I can teach interview, IELTS, young learners. I can do so many different things. Which one should I specify to? Which one should I niche down to, right? So, and to me, every niche works.
Sure.
Every niche works. You just have to find one
Yeah.
to focus on. And I have some metrics to help people. So 3 things you need to consider. There's a need in the market, and something you're good at. So you have the skills right for, and also something you are passionate about. I think like the last one the most, because you are not starting a side gig. Something on the side. You do it or not. You're starting a business. You need
Mhm.
to find something you're passionate about, something you can stick to, right?
Yeah.
And if you even there's a lot of money, you can do it. You hit it, it won't last long. You're gonna get burned out very quickly. You're gonna leave it. You're gonna quit from the business you started, right? So find something you're passionate about. So think about these 3 metrics. And for traditional teachers, one approach I suggest is to list out all the students they taught, categorize them in terms of industry, profession, the reason they learn English, what they learn. So different categories to categorize them, and then look through them one by one. Hey,
Mhm.
which one I'm passionate about, which one I want to work with for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
right? And then they pick the first one, they try it. It might not work. They try the
Right.
second one, right? So that's
Right.
how you follow the categories to try it. And for non-traditional teachers, a lot of teachers get into the teaching field just because they like teaching, or they just work with one of the companies. They realize, okay, I love teaching, right? So for these teachers, they don't have many students they have taught. Maybe they cannot use this approach. So then what I suggest was, hey, think about the careers you had before. Try to
Yeah.
relate to that. Now, if you were a banker before, it might make a lot of sense to target bankers. If you were a consultant before, think about targeting consultant, because you can relate, you can understand their problems even
Yep.
faster, right? If
Yep.
you are if you were a tour guide before, think about tour guides, right? So these things you can think about, traditional teachers, non-traditional teachers. But one thing is, don't stay there too long. Don't spend like days, months to decide a niche, because every niche works.
Yeah.
Figure out your passion, follow the approach to find one, to do it. And also it's a dynamic approach. It's not like, oh, I find my niche today. Like, no, you define a starting point at first. Oh, I want to help with IT professionals with a communication niche. Then you have to test it. It's a dynamic
Right.
approach. You test it, you learn from the market feedback, what the market tells you, who resonate with you, what are the group. And a lot of people end up with very specific niche. After starting point, they have very specific profession, very specific problem, very specific region, just because that's the place that resonates, that react, that respond to their message, and they niche down. And that's the sweet spot.
You know, one of the things that I think resonates with me about what you do in for example, making a 21-day challenge is by having a system in place by, okay, this is what we're going to do on day one. This is what we're going to do on day two. It takes it away. It makes it impossible to get into this analysis paralysis, because I've seen this happen too, where teachers say, I've thought about this niche. I've thought about that niche. I just don't know which niche to pick. And there are so many choices, and they feel like if I make the wrong choice, then it's not going to work. And there's only one right choice and a million wrong choices. So I better take 6 months to make this choice. And there are so many other, and that's just one part of it, right? Because I think sometimes teachers think that, you know, like starting a business can be easy, and it's generally not easy. And that's why it's so important to say, this is an order in which you have to do things, right? Like, oh, do I need a logo? Should I spend a bunch of time picking my colors and things like that? And which website hosting platform do I choose? So I don't know all the details of what you do in the 21-day challenge, but I imagine one of the things that's very helpful is it avoids this.
Yes.
There are 1,000 things to do, and I don't know the order in which I should do them.
Yeah, exactly. I think, no, I know you didn't take the challenge. Maybe you should in the future just have a bigger picture of that.
Yeah.
But exactly what you said. I think that's I would say the best part I feel the challenge can give is to hold your hand, tell you what to do next. So everyone gets one task a day, every day. So I just keep reminding them, don't think ahead, don't overthink, right? Get it down and move on. So, you know, exactly. I think you know teachers too. They were like millions of ideas, and they want to get it done at once. I think they got overwhelmed. They stop. They don't do anything, right? So, for example, on day one, we do, hey, niche here. This is the method. Get one, and they don't have time to think. Tomorrow, messages. Hey, what are problems? Think about it, and then program. Okay, so there are problems. Okay, the program, what's the framework, you can get it down, right? Then keep going. So I think all the teachers trust the system. Okay, James is holding my hand. They're blind, right? They don't know where they're going, but they know they're moving forward. We just lead them, and then one thing at a time, one step at a time, and then boom, one thing. In week 2, we do marketing. They were like, everything just come together. Oh, everything makes sense now. And they implement, they take action, right? So that's exactly, I think I appreciate a lot. And the way I did it in the challenge is better than just giving all the training to people, let them take. I think we don't release tomorrow's training until tomorrow. Right? So people don't know what's next, and they just have to do the work, focus. I think being able to focus, being able to prioritize, being able to really clear, like thinking clearly, are important as entrepreneur. There's so much noise out there. Like everybody tell you different things, right? The logos, some teachers spend like a couple hours on their logo. I was like, what's the least important thing you should think about right now? Right. So it's always like there's so many things we should do, but the question is whether or not we do it. The question is when we should do it. What's the order of doing it, right? All the people, okay, James, on day one, hey, James, when should I have a website? It was like after your proof concept. There's always order. I'm not saying, hey, you don't need a website. No, you need it when. When do you need it? After you got a proof concept, you understand your niche, so you know what to put on your website. You know who are the audience, who's the audience you're gonna attract to your website. Then that's the time to have a website. So these are the order, the prioritization is what is important for teachers to appreciate and implement.
I think that's so important, because when we do things out of order, it's like you create a website, but you don't know why you're creating a website. And so then what's on your website is a bunch of stuff about you, about me, the teacher, because it's my website and people are coming here to learn about me. And you lose focus of, the students, strangers who are coming to your website for the first time. They're really concerned about what's in it for me. And I think it's so important to to provide that in terms of saying, this is what we're doing on day 1. This is what we're doing on day 2. If we're on day 2, don't worry about day 3 because it's just day 2. Because I understand, like, in the world that we live in today, the internet, we consume the internet. We treat the internet like it's a thing to consume, and we have a bunch of tabs open at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch a YouTube video while I'm checking my email. And it's like, and all of these things, we're consuming this content, but it doesn't really like change us and how we approach things. But by saying, hey, listen, I want you to approach this not as a consumer, but as a creator. And don't, you're not going to watch my video course while you're doing a bunch of other things. Like, this is a challenge, and every day there's a part of this, and so you're going to do it. I think that's great. And I imagine that helps break this like consumerist part where we watch things, but we don't really take action on the things that we see.
No. And when you don't take action, you take courses. Yeah, exactly. I do teachers, right? They take courses, one course and after another one course and after another one. These are great courses. I mean, all the courses are great. And they don't take action. They just don't feel like they're ready.
Yeah.
And in the challenge, we force them to take action. Hey, don't think about anything else. Do it to take action. Take action. And then some teachers say, "Oh, James, I've learned so much in 21 days, even more than what I've learned in the past 2 years." Yeah. Why? Because you learn a lot, but you never implement. Then you don't remember them. You don't remember them. And when you actually learn something, like you watch 30 minutes, 40 minutes video today, you implement, that really help you enhance the understanding. And you people like the achievement, like something like they've done, like they like that, and that really helps them build the momentum. Oh, I can do this. I can do more tomorrow. I can do more tomorrow. And that's, I think, is really a much better learning environment, right? So yeah, I really think that's the case.
I want to take a question here and give you. So James, someone is asking that they teach a lot of Brazilian engineers general English, but I don't teach engineering English per se. Can my target market be my niche, even if I'm still really teaching general English?
So that's a great question. And I think you've already got your niche. Brazilian engineers, that's a great one. And at first you're gonna still teaching general English. To be honest, all the teachers, when they work with their students, their niche for the first time, they still feel like they're teaching general English, although they're charging more than $50 an hour. And they were like, I just fake it. So you're gonna still feel like you're teaching general English, but once you decide that's your niche, you are willing to learn from them. You're learning, you're getting feedback from them. The feedback from these students from the niche will help you customize your program. I don't think any of you guys should feel like, oh, I have picked engineers, I should teach them engineering specific very technical English. It's not. Oftentimes people are looking for like social English.
Yeah.
We have teachers helping lawyers. Are you gonna? Is that case you have to teach them legal English?
That's the English that they know the best. Like that's the English they need the least help with.
Yeah, they already learned from school. And a lot of teachers teaching like doctors, are you going to teach them medical English? People already learn it from school. I think they're more about how to implement them, how to make them more comfortable implementing them. So that's the question. That's the answer you're going to find from teaching them. So for that, I don't see the name, but for that particular teacher, position yourself, specialize, and only target people, Brazilian engineers, and then you will be great because you already done. And think about all these students you've taught, what the problem they have, why they are working with you, right? Really help you already, summarize, extract information that can help you refine your niche. Yeah.
Well, okay, so James, we've been going for about 40 minutes now, and I think the really interesting part about this is that I think we could probably talk about this for hours, right? Because in this 40 minutes. I mean, we've only talked about a couple of things, right? We are
very tangible.
And so, I kind of wrote down a couple of notes of the things you said, and I want to ask you more. But at this point, what I want to do, I want to talk about a little bit about Off to Class, and I want you to talk about your Teacher Entrepreneur 21-Day Challenge so that people can kind of learn about what we do.
Yeah, sure.
And then I think it would be great to maybe talk about doing this again. So, and it maybe with a little bit more of a focused topic so we can get a little bit deeper. So for anyone who's watching this that does not know, offtoclass.com is a lesson library and student management tool that allows you to take on more students with less effort. So we have over 1,000 lessons in the lesson library, a student management platform, and a placement test that will connect all the mistakes that your student makes to the lessons that will fix them that are in our lesson library. So what it really helps individual and independent teachers do is it takes away the time that you have to spend lesson planning so that you can teach a larger amount of students knowing that you're going to have a high quality program to put them through to actually go through what you're teaching them so that you don't have to spend any extra time lesson planning. We have free accounts and we have paid accounts. You can sign up at offtoclass.com. I encourage you to go check it out. And for people who are not familiar with James, we've been talking about it a little bit, but just give us a little more detail about how someone can learn more about your challenge and what you do.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris. Yeah, the 21-day challenge, we talked about this a lot already in the discussion. So it's a group training that we host monthly. So it lasts 21 days. It covers a lot of aspects, define your niche, develop your messages, marketing messages, and develop your program. And also we cover LinkedIn marketing, Facebook marketing. We use LinkedIn and Facebook as example to teach you the principles of doing online marketing. And we also cover the models, how to grow to six-figure business, what is beyond challenge, in the challenge. So it lasts 21 days. Every day you got a video that lasts 20 to 30, 40 minutes long, and tells you what you need to do, you need to know, what you need to do, and one task at a time per day, implement every day. And it's in the group. I think that's the part I didn't mention. A lot of teachers like this community. Like, for example, we had 100 people in the June challenge. All these 100 people doing the same thing every day. They're asking questions, helping each other. They're connecting the community, and they have their alumni group afterwards. They stay in touch. So it's hard to do it on your own. And it really helps you when you see other people are doing it. And one teacher said that in the graduation party that was yesterday, she was like, Eddie, so in the community, I realized I'm not alone. Like my problem, my struggles are also shared by so many others. Just knowing that is comforting you because, you're not the one struggles. Everybody has the same problems, struggles. So really motivate you. If other people had the same struggle, then they overcame it and they can do it, right? You can do it too. So really motivates. So that's the 21-day challenge. If you guys are interested, Chris is gonna share a link with you guys. We have another round starting